Oh hell, it's the Bloody Mary. Okay, so the Bloody Mary. Well, I don't usually use much vodka at home, but for a few drinks I actually do, and one of them is the Bloody Mary. I still actually personally prefer the Bloody Maria, which is with tequila, because, you know, everything just tastes a bit better with tequila. But the Bloody Mary is a rather wonderful drink. Now, and there's a lot of stories and a lot of history around this cocktail. In fact, actually, if you have the chance, I really have to go by Simon Difford of Difford's Guide. Did a brilliant expose on the history of the Bloody Mary, and I really think you should, if you get the chance, look it up, read it. All right, I think it's wonderful. So I'm going to try and condense as much of this information down into a short amount of time, but it's rather hard because Bloody Mary is just unbelievable. Now, we're going to start with a little bit of history. Okay, 1 second. Just take a sip of amber nectar. Or agave nectar, whichever you want to call it. Right, so here we go. Here we go again. The Bloody Mary, a little bit more of the history. So, basically in New York, the New York Club, 21 it's called, it claims in 1930s that one of their bartenders, a guy called Henry Zabikowicz, supposedly created the drink as well, the Bloody Mary. And also, they also refer to a pick-me-up, which is actually written in an editorial by a guy called Lucius Bebe, that it's called George Gessel's pick-me-up. Now, also in the 1939, La Floridita, which is a very famous bar in Cuba, also claims a drink called the Mary Rose, which is also based on similar ingredients to a Bloody Mary. So there's a lot of people claiming ownership and creation of this drink. And in fact, we also go back again to originally who I spoke about, which is a guy called Petiot. Now, Petiot also claims that supposedly at the St. Regis Hotel where he was in the 1930s in New York City, he just basically did a variation on a drink already created by a guy called George Gessel. And that's what he claims. There's also what the hotel claims. So as you can see right now, there's a lot of mentioning of somebody called George Gessel. Now, this is the person. This is who we have to give credit to when it comes to the Bloody Mary. And we are now going to start talking about Mr. George Gessel, and then we're going to make a Bloody Mary. Right. Just give me a couple of seconds. Right, so got my tomato puree here. All right. Well, basically it's a tomato juice. I just put it, tin tomatoes, organic if you can, blended the out of it with my little mini blenders that I've got here, and getting it ready to make the drink. And I'm still drinking my tequila. I mean, bear with me before I have to go on to this, because I don't have a hangover. Right, so the history, you know, I mean, during the 1920s, 1930s, all these bartenders are claiming, oh, we made this drink, we made the drink in this hotel or that club in New York, or this bar and this hotel in Paris. Now, the thing is, of the major books at the time, things like Frank Meyer, who's had one of the biggest egos of all time, Ritz-Carlton bartender, shocking, did fine artistry and mixing drinks in 1937. Then there's the Savoy Cocktail book by Harry Craddock in the 1930s. And then there's Harry McElhone, who had New York Bar, which is supposedly where this cocktail was also invented, did not publish anything about the Bloody Mary. What the f***? Seriously? Doesn't make any sense. But George Gessel is the person that we're going to have to give this drink to. And really, because he's a bit of a rather great character. If you actually read about him, he was a comedian, he was a singer, he was a songwriter, he was an actor, he was a great host. He used to do lots of events for shows around the United States. He was a bounder, a cad, womanizer, you name it. Typical 1920s, 1930s, you know, sort of actor, right? And he did everything from stage to film, all right? And basically, he used to party a lot. And according to his book, in the world I lived he went on a massive party in the 1927 when he was in Palm Springs at the time, having some fun. And he woke up the next day, hangover as hell. And so he went to the bar, and the bartender gave him a bottle of something that they'd never had before or never really knew, and it was called vodka. Right? He couldn't even spell it properly. Most people can't or even pronounce it. They didn't. It was new. And in fact, this is one of the things I love about Mr. George Gessel, about what he said. And I think it's absolutely fantastic. You got to give him the bottle of vodka, opened it up, get the smell, sniff, and just went, oh my God, this is rotten. But why not? Let's put it together and put it with some tomato juice and a few other little things that we have on hand. So, hot sauce and Worcestershire sauce. And it's Worcestershire sauce. Not with Worcestershire, or not Worcestershire, Worcestershire sauce. All right, put it all together. Just a little mild shake or a throw or whatever, and put together the drink. All right, and that's the Bloody Mary. But how did it get its name? It's got nothing to do with Elizabeth I massacring a whole load of religious people. It wasn't. It's actually more likely to be about the fact that he had, supposedly, the story goes, a very good friend of his came in that morning as well, after also being at the party, a Mary Brown Warburton. And she came in, and he offered her the drink. Unfortunately, she went and spilt a whole load of it over herself, and she laughed and said, you know what, you can call me Bloody Mary. Ha! Eureka! There you go, that f***ing simple. Right, so now we're going to go and make how I will make a Bloody Mary. Right, so I'm going to make my Bloody Mary and how I make a Bloody Mary. Let me just finish off my tequila first. Okay. That was most enjoyable. Right then, so I'm going to throw my Bloody Mary. You can stir, and what you can do is something like this, which is called a rolling, like that, all right? Basically what it is be gentle, all right? You don't want to shake, all right? Please don't shake a Bloody Mary. And it's up to you whether you want to do it with or without ice in the glass, all right? But I am gonna add ice to mine, okay? So, what are we gonna do? First off, we're gonna add 2 ounces of vodka, all right? So, let's pour it in. This is a rare golden moment. Age is making a drink with vodka. Yes, it will be kept to posterity. Now, tomato juice. Yes, tomato. I can't say the other word, or I'll try for you just to make you happy. Tomato. Right, 4 ounces of tomato juice, okay? Or tomato puree, whichever you want to call it. All right. Okay. Now this is where you can have a little bit more fun, all right? And this is where you can add and decide how you want to do it. Now, I'm not majorly into my hot sauce, but I like to keep it simple. I love this one as well, but you use whatever hot sauce you fucking want. So I'm just gonna do 1, 2 of the hot sauce, all right? Then I'm just gonna do 2 dashes of the Worcestershire sauce, okay? Then, it's where you have a little bit more fun. Some cracked pepper, I'll just do 1 little pinch. 1 little pinch of salt, okay? And then I like to add some horseradish as well, but that's because I'm also English. Now, be a bit careful with this one, depending on how much of the horseradish you're using and how spicy you want it. I just like it quite nice and mild. I'm just gonna put a little bit in. That's all I'm gonna put in. That's all I need, all right? You don't need much, okay? And then, what I like to do now is also prepare my glass. So I need some celery salt. You can just do normal salt as well if you want. But what's rather important as well is with this, I like to do 1 nice little squeeze of some fresh lemon juice as well, okay? And the reason why I like to fresh because I want a bit more of the oil coming in. And just a little squeeze, that's it, that's all you need, all right? With the lemon you got left over, rim your glass, okay? I know I'm not a fan of rimming, but when it comes to this drink, I do think it's rather important. But a Bloody Mary, when it's done well, is wonderful. Don't rush, take your time. Really love this because it's a beautiful thing. Also, while you're not rushing it, helps you recover from your hangover. Okay, like so. All right, get nice little rims all the way around. Now what I like to do is get a little corner and just make it a little smoother on your way around. Okay. All right, and there we go. Okay, there it is. Now I'm going to throw a drink. So I put all my fluid in my big tin. All right, put some ice, a julep strainer, rather essential. Then we're going to slightly throw. I'm going to show you a simple, basic throw process. Okay, you don't have to get too fancy, but you can. This is where gravity is your friend. So pour down like so. Go up. Pour back into the top one, like so. Okay, and then throw all the way down again. This is where gravity is your friend. Use it. Okay. All right. If you're uncomfortable with doing this, just stir it briefly. Okay. Or as I showed a little earlier, roll. Okay. Because all you want to do is just slightly dilute and chill the mix. Okay. There you go. All right. This is a very simple little throw. But if you want to go a bit more advantageous, it's where you can just go, oh, there we go. Okay, like so. That's where gravity is your friend. All right, we'll do one more. And then you just go like that, and there we go again. Okay. All right, just pour it in. There it is. Get the ice. You can either get a nice big long block if you've got the time and the money to have that kind of thing, but just get some nice little ice in there, fill it all up, get a nice big glass, that's my advice, or just use a mug or whatever's available. If you've got a hangover, who gives a shit? All right, pour it in, all right, like so. Beautiful mix. There it is. Okay. Get a straw. Have to eventually get that in. There we go. Now, when it comes to celery, get some nice fresh celery. And a celery stick as well. Just rip one off. It's not the end of the world. Doesn't have to be perfect. Okay. Put one in like that. I love the little flowers or petal or leaves you can have. Okay, like so. Okay. Get yourself lemon wheel. Put it over like so. Okay. And there you go. Alright. This is a wonderful drink. I hate Caesars. I'm sorry. I know I live in Canada. I've tried every Caesar you could imagine. Still can't do it. And if you want to see my hatred of a Caesar, please watch H's Corner. There will be one coming up, and I know I'm going to alienate a lot of Canadians on it, but there we go. A Bloody Mary, or the Bloody Maria, which is with tequila, it's a wonderful mix, okay? And it's a great hangover, and it's a beautiful drink. That's enjoyable. Off. Get home safe.